Have you guys read the Harry Potter series? Well, there's a lot of controversy on whether or not the author J.K. Rowling should be cancelled. Let's talk about it.
Welcome back, you wonderful people. We're back at it again. It's been a long 2 weeks. I'm O.
And I'm S.
And today we'll be talking about J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling has been controversial for quite a few years now, mostly based on her opinions on the LGBTQ plus community.
Why does this matter, you may ask? Well, it matters because of the person she was. Basically, for those who do not know who J.K. Rowling is, she was very famous for her book series called Harry Potter. She was a very famous author. She had made many books, and it was through these books that she'd had gained a platform of influence. And so she was a big influencer to many young people and many people just in general. And so when she tweeted these her opinions, and which showed like very transphobic behavior in them, this was very harming.
J.K. Rowling is really open with a lot of her opinions. She's very outspoken, but I feel like something about this, she just shouldn't have kind of, worded it like this, like especially this specific tweet that she posted on July 5th, 2020. This is a quote unquote. So many, myself included, believe we are watching a new kind of conversion therapy for young gay people who are being set on a lifelong path of medicationalism that may result in the loss of their fertility and or full sexual function.
Yeah, so basically in this tweet, what she's saying is she thinks that trans people, like their surgeries, is a conversion therapy.
And that it's like not good, like it's
it's harming them. But however, she, in my opinion, I don't think she has a right to say this because that's their life, and this is a public tweet that she tweeted, and she actually has tweeted a lot of other transphobic comments over the years.
It's been retweeted a lot of times as well, and there's like a lot of likes on this post as well.
Yeah, and it's quite scary to see this. Like people are agreeing with her. And honestly, this is a really bad mindset to share, especially since she's she's also a big influence on the world.
Yeah, a lot of people love I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan personally, but I did think that she's a great writer and stuff because of how famous she got. I have read one of her books, and it was pretty good. So I was like, she must be a really great writer, great person, and her backstory and everything of how she became a writer.
Yeah, the whole story of how she was a waitress and then she worked hours and hours, and Harry Potter actually got rejected multiple times before she was able to be able to conquer it up and sell it to the world.
Yeah,
and make billions of dollars.
Exactly. Actually, you know what? I've seen a lot of the Harry Potter movie cast. They also spoken about her tweets as well.
Yeah, Emma Watson. They were speaking out against her tweets and how they disagree with her beliefs. And honestly, it really surprised me to find out that she was transphobic, because I never really saw that in her. But at the same time, we don't really know who she is.
Yeah, but I feel now it's 2022, we need to kind of accept everyone, even if you don't, fully agree, you don't have to say anything about it, right? Just let them live their lives,
Yeah, and also it's not really her life, and she has really no say in this other than the fact that she's an author, and she influences a lot of young people as well, which is very concerning, seeing as she has placed out her opinion. And yes, this is her opinion. However, that does not make it right.
Exactly. Actually, I even read an article that she wrote herself justifying why she, doesn't support trans people.
Yeah.
And she talks about how it's harming a lot of people, and talks about, peer pressure, how, I think it was another researcher, she actually found out that, in high school and middle school especially, if one person comes out as trans, then the whole friend group just kind of comes out, so.
And this is a horrible stereotype, because that's not really true. That's just because your friends might like be gay, that doesn't make you gay.
Exactly, like, you
And
know,
it's very harming that she's saying this.
it is, and she's talking about how it's influenced like the young generation and how it's just kind of become like a trend, unlike not them
but
finding about themselves, more like a trend. So it's kind of concerning, especially, and kind of offensive as well
to the LGBTQ plus community.
Exactly, like,
just saying like, hey, you chose this because of a trend. This life was something you chose it, or you chose to have.
I don't understand, because why would someone choose something that gives them a lot of hate?
Yeah,
you know?
why would you choose to be hated? Why would you choose to be like, discriminated against?
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage to come out and be yourself. So
exactly, and the fact that she's like downplaying it, she's like, oh, you guys are just doing this on a trend. This is just something that's just gonna be a fad. It's not gonna last. That's such a it's so harming to even like teenagers like ourselves, like people who are in the closet. Like,
exactly,
they're now afraid to like be like come out and stuff like that.
Yeah, and she also talks about how a lot of people have regretted their decision, but it's like, you're trying to figure out who you are. You know?
Exactly. And let's be honest, everyone makes mistakes, right? And the fact that she's like saying, well, trans people, when they make a mistake, they can't reverse it. Well, it is their life, and they chose to do it. They knew the risk. They knew everything. And at the end of the day, it's whatever makes them happy.
Exactly. Like, she isn't like a trans person, or she like her personally, then if we're supporting her, we're not giving a hate, so she shouldn't give it back to anyone else either.
Yeah, and I heard a lot of people like, okay, Harry Potter is a very famous series, right? And I'm sure there's a lot of Harry Potter fans out there. I myself personally am not really I'm not really big on Harry Potter, but I have read some of the stories, and it's actually really good stories. And the sad part is that it's because it's so good that people are influenced by her words, right? And so when she says stuff like this, you kind of have to really think, well, should I be reading what she writes when her opinions are so like...
Exactly, because reading her books and supporting her work is kind of supporting her in an indirect way as well.
Yeah.
But
then again, you can't just like cancel out the whole Harry Potter culture, because like not everyone who likes Harry Potter is transphobic.
Yes. It's kind of, I think it's controversial,
Yeah, of course,
there's,
obviously.
Like, the freedom of speech, but there's also a limit to how much
you can even say.
That limit isn't very clear, because...
Yeah, and that's, like, of course, all things in life, nothing is crystal clear.
I feel like that's where it kind of gets confusing, because the limit isn't very clear. And there have been other celebrities who have said worse.
Yeah, that's true.
And nothing really happened to them. Like, for example, the author who wrote... The Cat in the Hat, and he was also like really racist, and
that's true.
And a lot of his books were discontinued.
I think we have to really look at the like authors, because we never really see them. Like we never really notice them until they like voice their opinion.
Yeah, but the difference is, I think in the author of Cat in the Hat, oh my god, I totally forgot his name, but he also actually showed his like homophobic and racism in his books. Well, I don't think J.K. Rowling does that. I'm not sure, though. I haven't read, actually. The only thing I've read is, like
I'm
the
pretty sure
book.
she doesn't.
I guess it depends on how you're looking at it. Are you going to, like, see her and her work as one unit and think that, okay, you know what? No way. All of it is just gone. Or are you going to, like, kind of separate them and be like, you know what? Her books are fine, but she's not. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Yes. So I feel like, people should... Well, she herself, J.K. Rowling, should kind of censor what she puts out into the world, because it affects not only herself, but also other people who are reading her tweets. And, there could be, like, young kids who want to come out, but then they see stuff like this. And it's not just J.K. Rowling. A lot of famous celebrities have actually, spread hate.
Yeah, and she's just helping spread, like, she's helping, what's it called? Like putting more to the fire, basically. And it's really cruel to see this happening in 2022, where everyone's supposed to be like this illusion of like equality and everything. But you can clearly tell that like in our society today, it's still not happening. Like not everyone's equal.
Yeah, and I just J.K. Rowling tries to say that her opinion is correct, and she even wrote a whole article on it. And like, some people might feel like what she's writing is true,
Yeah, and the way she writes it, like some of her tweets, she makes it in like kind of an apologetic manner.
Yeah,
If
she
you
does.
notice,
And
yeah,
she's a writer, so she has a way
she
with
yeah
words.
she knows how to use her words. She knows how to convince people.
Exactly. And so I read the article, and she uses a lot of like facts that like she says are like real. Like she names all these like researchers that she knows, and she talks about how people like blame her, hating on her for spreading hate towards the LGBTQ
I know
community.
it's kind of like really two sided because she's like, because there was like a lot of controversy because people were sending her death threats, and this is something I do not condone. I don't
Yeah,
think
like,
anyone condones.
you know,
Like death threats is a real serious problem, and it's happening very like I've heard a lot of celebrities get like a lot of
yeah, like it is never okay to hate
Yeah.
someone else. Like if someone's hating on you, you gotta like use a more peaceful way.
Yeah,
to...
and so I see that like the way people also are dealing with this whole situation is also very bad,
Yeah.
because the fact that people are sending her death threats is not a way to solve any conflicts.
Exactly. I feel like it's only making her even more vocal about
Yeah.
her opinions because when it's out in the world, if something does happen to her, you know what happened. You know what I mean? Like it's not like some secret that she was keeping. It's out in the world. So
And J.K. Rowling, her views in like the LGBTQ community, it's very one-sided, and you can kind of tell that like she wants to voice her opinion, but like her opinion is not necessarily right, and it's like really cruel and harming. It harms a lot of people, but the fact that other people are also death threatening her is just showing how messed up our society is.
It is, because I feel like people are angered by this, and they they don't know how to feel about it. They're like, oh my god, like she's a terrible person now. But on the other side, she's like kind of just saying how she feels, and people have also peacefully been like, no, you're wrong. Like for example, Emma Watson, she spoke out against J.K. Rowling, but she didn't use it in like a violent. She didn't abuse.
Yeah,
her
it says
power.
she just showed her opinion, and that I think is a great way to like solve conflict.
Especially nowadays with the internet and everything, you can anonymously hate anyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you never know who's behind that like profile picture.
It could be like a 6-year-old. It could
Right?
be a 20, like 100-year-old. Who knows?
Exactly. So you never know. So it makes people feel like, oh, I can say anything I want to, and I won't get in trouble for that. So the people have to really watch what they're saying both ways. J.K. Rowling as well. She knows she has the influence. So it's like I feel people have different perspectives on how they can use their voice as well.
Yeah, but there's also like a whole thing where other people are saying, "Oh wow, she's so brave to like voice her opinion." But I actually disagree with this. This is not bravery. This is kind of, I wouldn't say it's stupid, but it was unsmart of her to do, okay? Because
honestly, it's kind of cowardly because she's not accepting the change that's coming. Like I mean, there have always been like trans people or like people from the LGBT community. It's just that they haven't been able to be open about it. But
until now, when like in 2022, where like they're realizing like, and the whole thing about her saying LGBTQ community is a trend, it's not. It's just people are realizing it more because they are seeing, oh wow, this is a lifestyle that people actually have.
It's like
and it's actually possible.
Model, kind of.
Yeah.
Like I remember, like this is like kind of off topic, but when I was younger and I'd watch a movie, there wasn't anyone who looks like me. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
So then,
like it would all be like white people.
Exactly. So I wouldn't be like, I want to be a movie star. Like I wouldn't say that because I was like, I can't be one. But then nowadays, there's like a lot more color on the screen. So younger kids can be like, oh my god, I can do that too.
Yeah, and then there's the whole thing like, like your body weight and stuff. Now you can actually be confident about it because of like the changes that are happening. And I think J.K. Rowling fails to like see this. Like she just sees her way of life, and she thinks everyone should follow that way of life. And that's a horrible like mindset to have.
Yeah.
And honestly, in 2022, I feel like it's the diversity in the world that makes the world the place it is.
Exactly. Like if everyone was the same, there would be no change. There would be no like improvement.
Yeah, and like I totally agree with this. Like to me, equality is accepting the diversity in our world, because at the end of the day, there'll always be diversity.
But everyone is like so controlled and everything, like, they can't really be themselves freely, and the reason is because of all the pain, but there's also a lot of good in the world as well.
Yeah.
So we have to kind of see that and have to kind of be like, okay, well, there are some bad parts of being trans as well, but we shouldn't be the ones to purposely make it worse for them,
Yeah.
We should be there to support them and make it a better process for them. Like, okay, so she's talking about how some people regret their decision. Well, we shouldn't be there to like be like, oh well, this is your choice. Like, you like suck now. We should be there to like support them and be like, you know what, that's okay.
I mean, they didn't choose to be trans, and that's the whole point of what we're saying is that no one chose to be trans. But like the way
J.K. Rowling,
yeah, is talking about it. It's
like, and she kind of, and her article again, it kind of makes it seem like she feels bad for the people. Like they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, like she's pitying them.
And
but the sad part is she shouldn't be pitying them.
Because they're trying to find who they are themselves.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people can't understand that because they haven't gone through that themselves.
Yeah. Like the whole thing of like gender dysphoria, like I don't think J.K. Rowling has ever felt that. And honestly, like personally, I have never felt that. But I know other people have felt that. And it is a real problem. And it like really harms their mental health, their like physical health even. Because like, when you feel that, you feel really down about yourself.
Exactly.
You feel like this is not the body you belong in.
Yeah, you're not confident. You don't have like the mentality like, oh, this is who I am. Because you don't know, And I feel like what high school students and middle school students, we really feel that it's not just about like, our sexuality or like our gender either. It's also about just who we are as a person.
Yeah, and also like the influences we have around us as well.
Exactly. So I feel like, larger influences like J.K. Rowling and all these other celebrities, they should be there to be role models for us, to support, to help us, guide us, instead of kind of hating on like people. Because
yeah, exactly.
Because even if maybe you have a friend who could be like trans, and then you hear this, and then you're like, oh my god, they might think she's right.
And then you're gonna try to convince them that hey, you're not trans, you're you're just confused. And like that's such toxic behavior as well.
Exactly, and I feel like it ruins a lot of like relationships as well, because like friendships and like even like family relationships, like with your parents,
Yeah.
For example, because like I feel like a lot of millennials are the ones who read Harry Potter while they're growing up. So now if they agree with J.K. Rowling, their kids won't be able to, freely express themselves.
Yeah,
like,
and then
family's supposed to be like the most, trusted community ever for you. You should always go to them. But when you have people from the outside who are like,
especially like with people of color, like this is really harming because the whole LGBTQ community, they do face a lot of discrimination, a lot of hate. And the fact that like more influencers like J.K. Rowling are also being hateful, it really shows like it kind of tells them, hey, you don't matter, basically.
Exactly. And a lot of people support her in this opinion as well, and I feel
and it's sad to see that as well. Like, exactly. It's very sad.
And it's like a lot of communities already struggle with changing and evolving, and then when there's still people like this who are stuck in the past, it makes the whole transition a lot harder, you know? And so, but like, should she be canceled for this? Like, should we all just, cancel her? Or is this something that she's allowed to do? Like, give her opinion? Like,
in my opinion, I believe she should be canceled. I don't condone this. This is something that I honestly believe is not right. Yes, it's her opinion, but it's not, to me, it's a wrong opinion. And I don't think that she took the responsibility, like, she didn't really realize how many, like, even, like, young LGBTQ trans people, like, how many people this would have affected, or this did probably affect. And I think that, well, I don't think her books should be canceled. I feel like her books and her should be different. It's very controversial. That's my own opinion on it. I feel like her books, because unless they, like, showed her, like, opinions in them, I think that they're okay. But her as, like, an individual, I don't support.
Yeah, I mean, I think she should also be canceled, but on the other hand, now we live in a world where we are allowed to, express our opinions
That's
openly.
true. That's true.
And I feel like, when we kind of be biased towards like you can't say this and you can't say that, it kind of really like, contradicting the freedom of speech. But I feel like what should happen is that she should take responsibility for her opinions, and she shouldn't word her opinions in a way where it seems like she knows better or she pities them or they're wrong. If she does meet someone who's like trans, she shouldn't be like discriminative against them. Obviously, I don't really know how she acts with the LGBT community. Like in her article, she did say like she's met people who are like
Yeah.
gay and everything, and like they're really nice and she like loves them and stuff. And so,
But then again, those are just words.
exactly. So I feel like she should take responsibility and really realize how she should word her opinions as well. Because in the end of the day, we do have the freedom of speech, and kind of, taking that away from certain people just because they said something, I feel like that's kind of contradicting the whole idea of
Yeah.
freedom of speech.
So, there's some disagreement in this, like, whole studio. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that she should be canceled?
And the death threats, like, do you guys think that that's okay? Like, she deserves them? Or do you guys think it kind of crossed the line?
So please check it out or please leave a comment under our, like, YouTube section. We'll talk to you guys there.
Yeah, we will answer, or if you guys have any new ideas that you guys would like to add, let us know, because we are very open-minded people and we would love to, learn more things, and, because we don't know everything, and there's always two sides to the story. Well, that's it. Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, and please subscribe to our channel, check out our Instagram and our TikTok.
Yes, we would love to hear all the comments that you guys have.
And your opinion on the matter.
Exactly. And if you have any other celebrities you want to hear about that you think should be canceled or controversial,
feel free to tell us. Yeah, exactly. Anyways, I'm O.
And I'm S.
And we are signing off. See ya!
Bye.